and good evening, and welcome to the Star Citizens Friday Night Live. And I am GriffinGamingRPG, your co-host. Yes, Go Mab, you are first. Good to see you with us tonight. And I'm here with my my good counterpart here, Mr. Fastcart FC. How are you, Fastcart?
Hello everyone, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well.
And how was your week?
My week was, how was my week? I think I had a good week. It was crazy. The weather got nice here in my city, so I'm not complaining. It was like 60s and 70s and stuff, so it's been kind of a nice week. How about you? How was things?
I had to turn my AC on for the second time.
Really?
I turned it on in mid-March, but I had to turn it on again today.
Oh wow! No, it didn't get that warm here yet, but well, I guess hopefully that means that spring is right around the corner.
My apartment faces the sun.
Okay, so you're catching that whole southern and eastern exposure, whatever it is you're getting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Greenhouse effect.
Greenhouse. Okay, I got you. Well, listen, we haven't been together in a little. Has it been a while since you and I have both been on Friday night? It's been
Friday night. No, we haven't been together. No, we always switch off between someone else.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, tonight we were supposed to have Dark Knight was supposed to be with us, but unfortunately he had a power outage, and so I'm filling in for him. That's why you guys are seeing me this week. I don't want you guys to see me that much. I was here last week too, but I'm kind of stepping in for him tonight, and we've already got some people waiting for us up in general, so we're gonna bring them down in just a hot second. Ops Chief, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Let's see, we had a lot of stuff, even though there hasn't been an ISC because they're on their hiatus or their little break. We did have an SCL this week. We did have some information come out from CIG this week. And so we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We're gonna try to blow through this because we have a really big docket tonight, gang. So we have a lot of stuff on the docket, even though there wasn't a lot going on. But let me ask you this, Fastcart, did you get into I know usually you don't do any of the PTU stuff, but I know you usually check in on it. Did you get to watch anything in the PTU this round for 3.13?
I watched you guys on Monday.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
does that count?
Well, yeah, I guess maybe what I was going to say was, did you get a chance to see any of the new features that are in 3.13? Did you get a chance to look at any?
I saw everything you guys showed off.
Okay, all right, which was the dirty windows, right? That was about the biggest thing.
The dirty windows, and I saw Body Dragon for the first time in action.
Okay.
I know that's been in for a while, but I hadn't seen it yet.
Okay, yep, okay, very cool. All right, I'm going to bring some of our guests down to the room with us this evening. We've got Go Map here with us, we've got Pops in Space with us, and we've got Fist to Face with us, and so it's great to have these guys here. How you guys doing tonight?
All right,
good.
Hanging in there.
Good, hanging in there. All right, good. I guess I'm gonna hit Go Map first, since he said I'm here first. I'll hit him first. Go Map, did you get to dance around in 3.13 yet, or you just been looking at the videos so far?
Ah, man, you know I was all up in there, man.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on what you did have a chance to, and I'm referring to the new stuff. Was there anything in particular that you got to mess around with?
Yeah, sure. Like, it's an unstable mess at the moment, but of course the PTU is to be expected. To be honest with you, every time I went in with a goal to I would test out the cave missions, I spent like an hour trying to escape Loreville. And then I finally get towards get a mission, get to the cave. I'm like, oh man, that cave looks nice, 30K. So I just hung it up like, all right, I'll wait for the next build.
Wow.
So it's get a little bit more stable.
Wow. I understand. We went out on Monday, the exact same thing. We were going to go do a mission. This was some other friends. We were going to do a mission. And as soon as we got to the destination, moon where we had to go to do it, boom, we got bumped out. It's like right when you're on the edge of getting to see whatever it is. So I get you.
It's like the server knows.
Yeah. It's kind of bait and switch, right?
It's like that State Farm commercial with the fisherman talking about, oh, you got to be faster than that.
Right, exactly.
No,
exactly.
No, it's more like Lucy and Charlie Brown, which to take the football away from him. You could send him flying through the air.
Yep. All right, let's jump to Pops. We haven't had Pops on the mic. We've had him in the background, but I don't think we've had him in the mic before on Friday Night Live. What's happening, Pops?
Not much. Yeah, this is my first time.
Okay. What about you with 313?
We'll try to be gentle.
Oh man, it's a lot of bugs. It's we discovered a few things together when we were out there that the quantum. Normally, when you try to quantum sway, it will tell you it won't allow you to go. Yeah, but now you can actually leave and go and get stuck in the middle of space.
Okay.
And call a friend.
Okay.
Phone a friend.
Just for a little rescue. I understand completely.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm still not gonna forgive y'all for raiding the fridge, but that's okay. Fist to Face, what about you? 313, what did you get a chance to dabble in a little bit?
Well, same thing as he dabbled in. We always go in together as a pair, so you know, we experience the same bugs, same things, raid the same refrigerators, you know. Okay. So, but you know, yeah, I mean, it's basically the same thing. I mean, we were just in there earlier before we came in here. We were trying out some Eckhart missions, and guess what? Infamous 30K. Wow. Matt Yeah,
Style,
so.
thank you so much for the subscription. You've been hanging with us for a while. Thank you so much, buddy. Yeah, okay. And Admiral Kusanagi has joined us as well. Admiral, how about you? First of all, hello. And secondly, how about you with 313?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this that Star Citizen show? I forgot.
Yes,
I didn't mean to come on tonight.
That's okay. If it's an accident. It's okay.
Okay. I've been watching everyone else's misery at the moment. That's quite enjoyable. I love 313. Just watch you take 2.5 hours to get the group together, and 30K. It's fun. Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
I am waiting for like some of the, you know, the big stuff to come out. I think is probably going to be a 313X patch. You know, we'll see how the PTU, you know, converts into the PU. So yeah, we'll see how it happens. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let me ask you this. I mean, we talked about the problems, and obviously it's PTU, right? So we're going to have problems. I want to know what was the good stuff that you did see, or did you? If you didn't see anything good, then that's fair. Anybody? Me?
Anybody?
I think it looks good. I'll start with that. I mean, the planets look good. You know, I think they did a pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they did.
And the environment looks really good.
That was one of the first things I saw. The sharpness was increased. Everything from the lettering on the elevator to planetary and you know, moons, things like that. They did something. I don't know what they did. And it also seemed to be running fairly smooth, which always amazes me that they can continue to raise the fidelity and yet and still the game doesn't, you know, start to lag or anything because of that. So, okay. Anybody else, something new that they saw?
I like the sharpness and the font change of the chat window. However, it is all jacked up on ultra wide monitors. If you have an ultra wide monitor and you get into a ship, it pushes it down so you can't see the bottom, so it cuts off what you're typing and like the last 3 or 4 messages. And I also love the fact that I was able to go ahead and rename my Mercury Star Runner to Gigi's Box of Spiders.
Okay.
I saw that.
Okay, very cool.
I will say, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I will say this. This is a good feature, and hopefully that this is, you know, will stay and is very stable. You can now quantum jump to your bounty missions without having to go into the star map and select it, you know, and waypoint yourself to it. Also, if you're in a group, like for example, me and my dad, if he has a bounty mission and sometimes like the tracker certificates, you can't share those. He can jump to his mission, and then I can jump on him without having to mark him or set a waypoint on him. Now,
very cool. Very
that's
cool.
a very big quality of life adjustment in that game.
That is very cool.
I have a question. Have there been a patch to fix the dusting on the windows yet, or is that still in there?
No, that was they put out another patch today, but there was one that went out yesterday, and they fixed it on there. I don't know when, and by fixing, they mentioned there were certain ships they had that on, and I just don't know whether or not. What I think it was that the accumulation was coming too quickly, and so I think what they probably did was stretch it out. So because I think within 30 to 45 minutes, you lost, you went to 0 visibility. So they did make a patch adjustment for that.
But I still think when you had, you couldn't see when you streamed the other day, and it just stayed cloudy. I mean, it was like it burnt the windscreen. It was that like unable to see.
Yeah, it was just the windows.
I feel like once you get going, it should at least blow some of the wind dust off. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
If snow is going to accumulate, but if it's flying, dirt and dust, it should blow off too.
Yeah, I get it. There's a lot of variables. Go ahead.
Someone in chat mentioned that it was an acidic atmosphere, so probably etched into the windows too. So that probably contributed.
Well, that's what they said.
J2 said that.
Right, J2 said that about the atmosphere for that moon, but I don't think it was just happening there because it was a patch that they didn't reference it to Daymar. So it may have been something that was just throughout the system. It's hard to say. And I get what you're saying, Admiral. I would agree that in some cases you would think that some things would get blown away when you take off. If there's atmosphere on a planet, if there's no atmosphere, then that might be another situation, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. They're still, it's all in the beginning right now. Let's see. Pops, go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention there's something they have to fix because you cannot mine and not see with your windshield like that.
Well, you can. You might explode a lot. That's all.
Okay.
Would a ship be better suited to that? Whether it be a ground vehicle or like the new RC? Do you think they could do something like that where it wouldn't have the same effect?
I'm assuming that weathering is going to affect everything. It won't just be isolated to ships. So if you're out there, even in a rock, and the rock now has these windows in it, I'm assuming that that's going to be affected as well. I think there's going to be a factor of, depending on the atmosphere of a planet. Not every planet will have it. There was another thing that happened that day too. Colossal flew within proximity of us and fired off about 10 countermeasures. And the reason why I'm saying that is that I don't know whether or not they put that level of detail into it, where because he did that accelerated the accumulation or not. But dirt was literally flying up from the ground onto our ship because I was standing in the back. So, but it may not have, but again, we do know that they made an adjustment to it. So that's the good thing. Okay.
You can just always blame Colossal for everything.
No,
that's just the way it goes.
I'm just stating something for us to consider that it might have been, All right, so listen, let's jump in because like I told you guys, we have a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm glad you guys are here because you guys will give us some good feedback on this. This week, and we always try to cover a little bit of what's going on with gaming, especially with space-related stuff. Elite Dangerous put out a new piece for a 24-player deathmatch. And I'd love to get the chat's feedback on that, but I want you guys to be able to take a look at the video first, and then you can kind of give me your thoughts on what you think about this, okay? So let's change over to that and take a look.
Hey guys, I'm Arthur, and today we're running down everything you need to know about conflict zones in 60 seconds. Start the timer. Settlements owned by factions that have entered the war background state can become conflict zones and will remain that way until the war is resolved. You can choose to take part in a conflict zone and fight for either side of one of these warring factions. After signing up to a conflict zone, fly there in your ship, drive there in your SRV, or arriving style via the dropship, which you can pick up directly from the Frontline Solutions desk. Conflict zones are 12 versus 12 battles, with each side comprising of both players and AI. To win, you will need to deplete the enemy reinforcements, either by killing their troops or by capturing the vital comms points located around the conflict zone. If you win, not only will you receive a bonus, but your victory is added to the simulation and contributes to the outcome of the war. Returning from a conflict zone is as easy as how you arrived, either via your ship or SRV, or simply recall the Frontline Solutions dropship and head back to the planet or starport you came from. You can trade your combat bonds for credits. You'll get combat bonds for every enemy that you kill. The value of those combat bonds scales to the rank of those enemies. If you die during the conflict zone, don't worry, you won't lose any of the combat bonds you have acquired. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, and please remember to share your war stories with us as we explore the Elite Dangerous Odyssey Alpha.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Before I get started, I know we're gonna say haters gonna hate, but don't y'all get too hard on this game. I wish Dark Knight was here, because Dark Knight is an avid player of Elite, and I play Elite, but I don't play it that much. So I'm gonna go down alphabetically. Admiral, what do you think about this 12v12 24 deathmatch piece that they've added to Elite?
Well, it sounds familiar. Maybe Toe comes to it. Sounds like it fits in that.
Okay.
I certainly kind of like the idea it's going to have NPCs to fill in roles. Maybe if there's a lot of people in it, because Star Marine always would you'd be like three people in there at times. So if you could have some NPCs that were kind of like high level, they could actually maybe draw in more people. That would be kind of fun. But I mean, I don't play this, but certainly anything that gets people playing sci-fi games and has multiplayer and has a little bit of action to it, then maybe some orgs will actually go and play that. Meanwhile, Star Citizen's getting the kinks worked out.
Okay. Fist, I'm gonna come to you next on this one. Is this their effort to use this as a testing ground for PvP? Are they introducing it because maybe this is helping them develop their FPS for the game? Or do you think that they're kind of feeling like, evidently CIG feels, that ground combat and ground domination is going to be something important?
I think anything that's where, PvP really drives a game, with people, So to me, I think it is a testing ground, as well as to kind of see, their player base, how the way they feel about it. But also to try to draw new players, because who doesn't love FPS? You know what I mean? So that's how I see it.
Okay. GoMap, how about you? Any thoughts on what you saw?
Oh, definitely. First of all, I know Dark Knight's not here, but according to the Twitch channel, under your avatar, it says Dark Knight 75. So it was confusing there for a second.
I changed it. I actually changed screens. Sorry.
Dark is in the chat though.
Right.
He's just giving me a hard time. That's all.
But you cleaned out your refrigerator now. There's.
But as far as this is concerned, correct me if I'm wrong, right? So you pick your faction. This is in their normal PU, right? You pick your faction and you fly in your ship and you fly to where the conflict is happening. You get to the instance zone, you load in, and you get to fighting, right?
Right.
That to me seems like it seems a lot like something of what Star Citizen is trying to accomplish with the Theaters of War thing, right? Hopefully one day, right? And so the fact that they are actually showing it and it looks like it's going to happen and release here in short order, I can't hate on them, right? They get it out there. It may not be as pretty as we're used to seeing it, but at least they're making it happen. So hey, I'm all for it. I think I think it'll get better. And then for the Elite Dangerous players, it's going to be a dream come true.
Okay. Pops, you get the tough question. Is this module that we're seeing, or this portion that they're adding into Elite, a part of what you think might be just the natural progression for the space games and the genre that both Star Citizen is doing and Elite? Or do you think it's competition In other words, they're literally putting it in here to give, you know, elite players to say, hey, we have this also in our game too.
Yeah, I think, I think there's always competition, always does that in business. If I have, you have to have. Because if we're missing, you're going to get ragged on if you don't have something at least similar.
Okay.
To it. But I think it's an excellent thing to have, because especially when you think about Death of a Spaceman, because people are going to be itching to fight and shoot each other. So if we have an arena where we can go do that and not have the consequence of Death of a Spaceman, I mean, it's going to be a big line getting in there.
Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all now, Dark Knight is about to go to Home Depot, break in, get a generator. He's gonna plug it up to his house so that he can get on the horn and talk to us, because he definitely feels very strongly about Elite. He says he doesn't believe it's competition. He just believes that they're doing it their way, you know. And I'd say both personally. I think that it is a natural progression to have, you know, you can't have all these planets and all these places to land. But then also not introduce, how do you have conflict, right? And it can't just be based around spaceships. So, you know, I think it is in some ways a natural progression. Maybe it's just a matter of timing, you know, that this is coming out, you know, and we're waiting on Theaters of War to come out. But I also agree with the fact that, you know, you do want to be able to reach your player base. And we know that FPS is a big thing, you know, for players, and not just ship FPS, but also ground combat FPS. So we've seen that happen. We've talked about Eve, when they had Dust 514, you know, it's a progression. It seems like when you've got all these planetary bodies, it makes sense to go down and deal with resources and also deal with some form of conflict. So, okay. Those are all good points. Fastcart.
If I can just mention one.
Sure.
The only thing that I noticed, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but the guns sound like toys.
Well, you know what? Let me defend that for a minute, because when Elite and Star Citizen both were coming out with their ships in space, Elite sound design people had awesome ship sounding lasers and cannons, and Star Citizen sounded like toys. It was terrible. And so, you know, but it was first iteration. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it was really bad. And so now all I'm saying is this is pre-alpha. So, you know, I'm sure that there'll be people saying, hey, the guns don't sound heavy enough or robust enough, and their audio people will get on the bandwagon for it. Fastcart, what did you think? Anything in your thoughts about it?
So someone said, who doesn't love FPS? This guy. Give me ships all day, any day. No, but I'm looking at it, and I mean, since I don't really play FPS, I can't really, my opinion may not count for much, but it looked kind of ordinary. It doesn't really stand out to me in a way. I know this is like their first iteration, or this is pre-alpha and all that still, but yeah, as someone who doesn't play FPS and someone who's not really into FPS, I prefer ship combat, but it doesn't really, like someone said in chat, it doesn't seem to draw me in, and I agree, so.
Yeah.
But Dark Knight said it's not a competition. I kind of feel it is, because it gives them a chance to say, oh, we're a complete game, and we have FPS now, and Star Citizen is still in alpha, so they can have that claim to fame when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, the FPS, I would agree. I think I'm more focusing on this 12 v12 thing, comparing that to Theaters of War. And that's the one I'm kind of a little bit more curious about, you know, whether that's a natural progression or whether not. I personally think, just like they're using Theaters of War for testing, I could very easily see them using this as well for testing too, for FPS in the game, you know, as well. So we'll see how it goes. You know, it's pretty amazing to me. These are for some of us say these are two entirely different games, same genre, but different approaches to the genre. And so I don't want to knock Elite, because I think Elite, a lot of people in Elite have been waiting for this. They've been waiting years. I think I told you guys last week, I went into my account on Frontier, and it was like I signed up for Elite back in 2014. So it's been 7 years. And they're just now getting to this stage where they're introducing the FPS and they're introducing being able to get out of your ships and things like that. So they're building too, just like Star Citizen.
That seemed to be the standard because I mean, like Eve was the same way. They introduced captain quarters 7 years after launch.
Yep, it is a lot. And yes, you're right, Dark Knight. It has been a long time that people have been waiting and hoping and waiting for this. So I look at the two games as also very different. Some of you guys know, and you may not know this, maybe you do. They talked about when a bullet is fired in Star Citizen, and you can look inside the rifle barrels. There's rifling inside of them, and the bullets actually rotate and spin like in real life. Now that's the level that they're talking about in Star Citizen, where in Elite they're not, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because there are some people who don't care about all that stuff. You know what I mean? They want to jump in, play, have fun. They want the FPS aspect of it. Then there are the other people who kind of dig that whole tech side of the fact that there's so much realism, in the guns that are being fired in Star Citizen. There are a lot of people who hate it, by the way. A lot of people who hate it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Star Citizen video or a fan-made video, but I remember seeing someone shoot a rifle, a gun in Star Citizen, and you could see the gun travel through the barrel of the gun and coming out and exiting. Anyone remember
that was Star Citizen that did that?
From?
That was Star Citizen. That's when they were talking about the rifling and stuff in the barrels. Were you going to say, Admiral?
I was just gonna say, Scum does that. They do rifling, they do bullet drop, they do their bow and arrow stuff is crazy.
Yep, sure
but
is.
It's interesting to think about Star Citizen when we think about this, because you have to incorporate what does the gravity of this moon or that moon or this how's it gonna affect the ammunition there?
Yep.
Is using energy rifles a lot better reason to use it? How does that type of environment affect energy rifles? Perhaps a denser atmosphere might make there's so much stuff they can go into, which they probably will, because some of them are kind of crazy and need weekend lives. But this is what we're in for.
That's very true.
This is why I only use a crossbow. Don't have to worry about any of that.
I still think that quad crossbow would be a great a net capture device for person hunting people.
It's going to be like the bat item, the bat utility something, where you can just use different things with it, which would be pretty cool.
You remember the movie The Running Man?
Grappling hook.
The movie The Running Man, when Schwarzenegger's running at the airport, he's trying to get out, and the guy in the van shoots him with this net.
Yep.
I think it might do something like that.
And it electrifies and it stuns you.
Okay. All right. Well,
they do have an electric gun, but go ahead.
Yep. We're going to go ahead and jump into the monthly report. Let's see. Let's cover some of this real quick. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to read the entire monthly report because it's way too much to read. I am going to talk about some of the highlights and the graphical highlights that they placed into it. And then, of course, I'll get comments from the folks that have joined us tonight. And once again, good evening to everybody, all of you who joined us. We appreciate you guys being here tonight. The very first image you see here was right at the beginning of the newsletter. And I'm going to start with Pops this time and work my way back. Pops, did you get a chance to see the newsletter? And I'm assuming that this is probably our first visions of what we're seeing of Orison and cloud technology. What do you think?
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
Okay.
I wish I had more detail than that.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Let's go to GoMab. GoMab, what about you?
Are you referring to the roadmap roundup, or
no? Talking about the monthly report. Right at the beginning of the monthly report, this image was the first shot, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I saw that image. It's pretty. Show me Orison. Clouds. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
So okay. Wait. Now you're gonna tell me that depth of cloud layer, which says that you can't see enemies or if you're dogfighting, means nothing to you.
I'm not a big dog fighter. Maybe if I was running from a ganker or something like that, that would be cool for me to be able to hide. But I mean, but it would all depend on if they could lose my radar signature. Like if I dip in a cloud and all of a sudden they can lose lock, then yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay,
but
there you go.
I don't think they have that quite yet. I mean, I know they're saying that you should be able to dip behind a asteroid, and since they lose line of sight, they should be able to drop lock on you. But don't show me pictures, man. I up to that point, I'm like, stop showing me pictures.
Okay.
Put it in the game. Let me see what's up.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You gave me a little enthusiasm, so I'm okay now. Okay. Let me go to Fist next. Fist, what about you? As far as the cloud tech, how does it look to you?
Oh man, I now that you bring out some points, yes, I do enjoy the look of this because you brought out some good points as far as hey, I can lose radar and or I can actually hide in there if I'm trying to find if somebody, if I'm bounty hunting or something like that. My question is to this though is what kind of atmosphere is Crusader? Because I'll be honest, I haven't read up on the lore of Crusader.
Yeah, so with it being a gas giant.
Right. So I would like to know because I know what kind of gas giant is it acidic? Is it is it breathable? Is it that kind of a thing, because if that's the case, then now I have to think about like we just discussed, the degradation of my ship. I
don't know enough about. I mean, it was also supposed to be very simulated in relation to like Jupiter as a model, and so evidently the way it looks, because if you ever watch the rotation of it, it has very high winds on it, which I'm assuming is very similar to Jupiter. But we also know that the space whales are in that area and that there are tours that are done of the space whales. So I don't know if that's an upper atmosphere thing or whether you're in a certain part of the atmosphere where it's safe to go into. I would assume also because Orison itself is a floating city. We've never heard anything about anything being on the surface of it. So, those are the things we know off the top of it, but I don't know enough of the lore. So maybe that'll be something we can look into and find out. Maybe somebody else does too in the group. Maybe somebody in chat knows a little bit about the lore. We'd love to hear it.
You had me. I forgot about that. You had me at space whales. That's all you had to say.
Okay. Fair enough. Admiral, how about you?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
It looks really nice. I think that Painter from the 70s has done a lot better stuff.
What has?
Dan Ross, is that his name?
Oh.
Some fluffy little clouds.
Little clouds. Just little clouds here and there.
You're missing some. He needs a hill on the bottom left. There.
And a tree, and a little creek,
good white space,
little river going by. Yeah,
and like a little, something like that.
When you said 70s, I thought you were going to steal my answer. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Late 70s, early 80s. Yeah. I forget when he was on, but doesn't like he was saying before. It's just not a lot to it, you know.
Okay. All right, fastcart.
I guess they're trying to describe how big it is and expansive and all that stuff. But
okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No problem. And I'm assuming that this is Crusader, is what I'm assuming this is. Just because of the level of cloud layer there, I can't see that it's being just over a moon or something. Fastcart, what about you? What do you think?
I can't believe no one pointed this out, and I'm going to be the first one. I thought Chris and I were going to steal my answer, but he didn't go for it. But no one said Bespin or Cloud City. No, it had that feel to me. Okay. The Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Hello, what do we have here?
Yeah.
My best Lando.
Okay, cool.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
All right, let's hop on to our next image that came up. This is another video that came up, if you guys can watch this. This was the video that was presented for docking. It takes a few seconds because the ship is kind of out there with the asteroids. And you can see it starting to come into the shot now. And by the way, that's a hammerhead that's coming in. I do wish they had done this at a different angle because it's kind of a distant shot.
It's flat.
I mean, they do cut in on it once it docks, but it would have been nicer to have a different angle.
That was probably on purpose.
Could be. Because it doesn't make sense, right?
Exactly.
Now they will show it when it leaves. And I can't tell completely what that is. But what they are showing us is that the mechanic is evidently in the game, and I guess they're still trying to finalize it, because if I'm not mistaken, it's going to come as a part of 3.13x.
They're going to go all the way to the X patch?
So, I know we've talked about docking before, and you guys were on the show before when we talked about it. Do you think that this is going to be a boon to the game? Because if you look at that docking arm, you can see that there's a decent walk to get to the station. I don't know if they're going to put those little moving walkways in there or what, but is that going to be a frustration being that far out coming into the station? Anybody want to answer that? Feel free.
I don't think so. Some people like the scenery.
I mean, you already walking a mile.
30 minutes.
Yeah, that is a pretty long catwalk. I can't lie.
I mean, you spend 15 minutes in Quantum anyway, so what's another 2 minutes walking?
It's a lot when you got Quantanium ticking in your cargo hold.
Well, if you're transporting Quantanium in a hammerhead,
I'm not really sure why you're doing that.
Well, no, it's not a hammerhead. I'm just saying if the docking arms have that type of extension on them, and you've got to get in to get to the cargo. I mean, you've got to make the run to get to cargo, to get downstairs to the refinery.
Right.
You know, I mean, does your stuff stay stabilized when you're at the docking station? I don't think it does it? When you're at the port?
I don't think we're going to be using that type of. I mean, because aren't we using like a different docking section now for like the cargo area? Aren't they making it more of a?
It's supposed to ultimately it's supposed to be like its own section where we would come in over there. Yeah.
Right. So now
the refinery rather. I'm sorry. I mean,
like right now, if we got Quantanium on a prospector, you have to go in a regular pad and then run in, go in the elevator, run around, going another elevator, and then you're in the area. Now it's going to be you just land and you're already on that pad section
later on.
I mean, for this, I think is like their scale. Like everything in Star Citizen is like the scale of this game is amazing. It's so large, and they're just trying to make it. Yeah, this is a big place and it's real. It's not like there's no instancing, and I think this helps to encapsulate that there's no instancing. So, which is kind of cool. I don't know.
Okay.
Then you get more mopeds in the game.
When I jump.
Well, here's the question. If you think the walkway is too long, would you prefer it to be teleported to your ship?
Okay. Oh my god.
You step into a little blue circle, like
that's kind of.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
But I will say though, this does eliminate that issue with the hammerhead coming out of the hangars. When you're going into battle, because now people can get into the turrets and I don't have to say, hey, listen, don't get into the turrets until I leave the hangar, please. You know.
Okay.
So that part is a plus.
Okay.
Well, actually, what I've heard is that you're not supposed to be able to get in them.
Now.
Yeah. So did that. One thing though that I see, it reminds me of the old, the very first Star Trek movie when Spock comes to the Enterprise and his ship has to do that flip motion to dock. And just reminds me of the tractor beam kind of I'm wondering if they'll ever put a tractor beam.
They said that there was going to be an automated and a manual way to dock. So, I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to what we just saw them put into the Constellation with the P-52 and 72, where you had the option of both. Because I know they said that you'd be able to look out, that you'd have a view out that port and you'd see like dots or whatever. I don't know if it's going to be in the MFD or what, but supposedly that's going to be something that they put in for it. Okay.
Now I know this is something that will probably never be put in the game, but how they use the tractor beam in Star Trek. In Star Trek, you could almost use that as a weapon to hold like a capital ship could hold a smaller ship in that beam. That would be cool if they would, add something like that, but I doubt it.
Well, that's light years down the road, so don't give them any feature creep stuff. So people will get mad at you for doing that.
Don't give him any ideas. Don't tell Chris that.
He said, don't give him any ideas. Don't give him any ideas. Okay, the next thing we're going to take a look at is the NPC. This is a part of the routines that NPCs will now be doing. A lot of times we see them walking around, but we don't see them walking around doing anything in particular. This is one of the things that they showed us where NPCs will be checking maintenance areas. You guys have heard of them talking about the spawn closets. This is when they go to work. Okay. And this is just giving us an animation, so that you can kind of see what example of what that means. And these panels will be throughout stations and other locations. He actually takes out several modules and looks at them, replaces them, not knowing whether that means anything or whether it's just an animation. Admiral, will this add life to the game, this type of thing?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool. I mean, everyone's gonna stop and like kind of watch, see what they do. It'd be cool if they could have a couple of SIG employees like mic'd up to them to like tell us to go away if we ask them questions and stuff. But
okay,
yeah, I think it'd be I think it's needed. I think it's kind of cool.
Okay.
There needs to be some type of randomness to it, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it's supposed to be where they're working, like they literally work 8 hours and they go home and go to sleep, right? I mean, there's different schedules that different people will have to do things. Fist to face, should they make this something that even players can mess around with? Like, for example, if you were to go to somebody's homestead or some other outpost, and not only can NPCs go in, but maybe if you go in, you're able to shut down something or activate something.
Here's the thing with that. Homesteads are off limits for me.
Okay.
To me.
Well, not personal homesteads. I'm talking about like NPC homesteads.
NPC, only if it's, I mean, I can kind of see that being a gameplay only if, to me, if it benefits, you in a sense, excuse me. Okay. Like if, let's say if there's like a Nine Tails base or something like that, you can sabotage. Okay. For me being on the UEE side or something like that, and vice versa. I could see that. Then yes.
Okay. Okay. Vengeful, thank you for the 100 bits. We appreciate that. Thank you. GoMab, could you see that becoming some type of missions where you actually have to go to some places and maybe take something that's, in one of these facilities?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that'll, like Fish said, as long as it has a purpose, right? I don't want it to just be something like, oh, I see a homestead, let me go take one of their power supplies and break their shit. Break their stuff, So I mean, right. It's got to have a purpose to it, right? To progress some sort of story or mission line or increase your reputation or give you some money. But yeah, I can definitely see them, everything that they're putting into the game, I imagine, is going to have some type of impact into the player progression on some level.
Okay. Pops, I know you're not like fastcart, because see, I can see fastcart rolling into these places and taking stuff to put on his Banu merchantman for his trade later on. This will be his way of salvaging. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that this will be something that they'll eventually make mission oriented, or will it just be just animations to kind of keep the place looking lively?
Well, I mean, first of all, the level of detail is, it is great. And I'm just wondering if there's different component in there. Will the NPC respond differently to what's in there? If the door's on a different side. I think the gameplay as far as Star Citizen is a lot deeper than I thought from a year ago when I first the game. They are so detailed that it's kind of mind blowing what they're trying to do with the tech that they're making.
They're doing,
and I think it's going to be absolutely complete submersion into the game.
Okay. Jay,
I just hope that they'll have different kinds of NPCs. This one doesn't look like a low tier NPC. Doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. I want to just walk up to him and ask him like, you know what you're doing? What are you trying to do here? Do you need help? That's what this NPC feels like.
Well, Jade says replacing power cells will be a thing. Number one, thank you for showing off those beautiful faces of those Soul Citizens.
Yeah, I was checking them out. I'm like, wait a minute.
and J2 says that we will see it in Squadron. We saw it in Squadron 42's gameplay video where the player has to find and install power plant battery to power up that station. So saying, yeah, we have seen it, that they're going to probably integrate that into the game. So, okay, very cool. Here's another one I'm going to show you guys. We heard about this a little while later where they'll have ammo cache, right? Where NPCs, when they are fighting you, they will run out of ammo. And so they will have to go reload. This was surprising to me because usually that's not a thing for NPCs. Let me start with GoMap this time. GoMap, what do you think about that? That level of, NPCs having to go reload?
Too much. I like it. It's cool. It's really cool, and I can see how somebody be like, it'd be cool if we did this. But the amount of time, effort, and work, and programming and engineering that has to go into something where, like, look, I don't, I'm okay if my NPC combatants just have unlimited ammo like they do in every other shooter game.
Oh my God.
At this level of development, right?
Okay.
At this level of development, right? I see it as a good thing for future enhancement and stretching, but as far as where do we put our resources at, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I joke a lot and say, all right, Chris is going to say, oh yeah, the NPCs got to stop and tie their shoes and stuff like that, which I joke, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility in this game right now. Like, he may make them have to tie their freaking shoes before they come shoot you. So I'm like, okay, when is enough, right? I get it. I see how great it is and how much it can add to it. But just get your stuff stable, fix it, and get what you have now and make it right, and then add this stuff later to improve the game at a future date. So that's
fair enough. Let's see, Admiral, how about you? What do you think about this?
I just want to start off saying that Velcro is the wave of the future.
Okay.
And apparently the Vulcans had it and gave it to us from Enterprise.
Yep.
So
yep, I remember that.
If you remember, I'm like, oh my God. I think it's very cool. I hope they're not running back and forth to boxes, and I think if they've got 120 rounds on them, or probably like 6 magazines or so, then they should take a while to go through 6 magazines. I think they should be smart enough to like maybe pick up some extras if they like have a spent mag. If they're passing a place, they pick one up. I think that'd be pretty cool. Okay. They don't necessarily need it, but they're just kind of like preparing in case they do. That's because that's more realistic of what you would do. You wouldn't like totally expend your ammunition and be like, whoops, sorry guy, time out, I have to go get some ammo. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they posted, I don't know if it was in the report or in the roundup. One of the things that they did tell us, and the reason why this does mean something a little bit more, is that they said now you will be able to pull items from your NPC's inventories now. So if they have a certain amount of clips on them or medical stuff, like right now with the PTU patch, you're able to take their weapons off the ground, but you're also able to take their multi-tool off of them if they have one. But now you'll be able to go into, just like how you have inventory, NPCs will now have inventory. So that's one factor. My concern with this is, and I'll throw this to Pops. Pops, do you think that this is going to also make a way for people to camp? Because if we know that the NPCs have got to go reload, all you got to do is just go stand where they're reloading and just shoot them.
Yeah, well, one thing it's always frustrated me when NPCs have unlimited ammo, and they never have to, but I run out. Camping on the thing that always happens.
Mm-hmm.
People always find a way to spawn camp, ammo camp.
Mm-hmm.
They always do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you stole the topic I was going to bring up. That was my first thought when I saw this video. I was like, that's a good place to camp.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fist, do you think they'll make it so that we can pull from ammo from there too, or just the NPCs?
Of course.
Okay.
They have to. They have to. I mean, to me, it's besides the ammo thing. I mean, I think the ammo thing is cold.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Excuse me. It also makes me think though too, to kind of think a little bit further on this, is that okay, what level of NPC are you going to bring to the battle? Is he going to be a novice where he's just going to spray and pray, and run out of ammo and have to go back to the box all the time? Or is he going to be trained and know when to shoot, know when to not, basically. So to me, that also comes in a factor, as far as that gameplay, and then squad things when you're talking about, like, I'll go out trying to take a point from Rainbow Six, where I could tell my squad, okay, stack up over here, stack up over there, take this flank, so on and so forth.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this, with the cache. Some of you remember, but back in the day when you used to go to Korea, we used to have weapons caches there back in the day. There used to be a grenade cache and there was a weapons cache there, and that's where you could go to get weapons. They had the locker where there were rifles, and then there was an area with ammo. They took it away a long time ago, but there was a time when we were doing something very similar to that. Okay. This next part, I'm not going to stay on it very long because it's not very much to say about it.
Let's get this over with.
But I'll play it.
You fucked up now.
Some of you may notice that a lot of times when you go into a place to have a fight with multiple combatants, that sometimes they're all talking and sometimes they talk over each other or at the same time. Well, now they've created algorithm, whatever it is now, that makes so that when they're speaking to us, it makes more sense that they're not talking on top of each other. So it's just a very quick demonstration of how they've been able to do that. And the conversation kind of makes more sense instead of just these like phrases that are just kind of tossed out there. So that's what this was about. Okay. This next one, this takes a few seconds to look at, but it's 3 different stages of them showing us about the lighting and the lighting paths that they've done, particularly in the docking area. So when you see this very first pass, it kind of looks like the way things are, like basically like right now. He takes a walk over to the docking window, he looks outside, and then he kind of walks around the area, and they're kind of just showing how the lighting changes in different areas of the docking area. And I'm assuming that they're just referring to how much work they're putting into lighting control for mood and atmosphere, depending on where you are. Now, one of the things that some people often feel that it's not a big deal about lighting, but lighting is significant in a lot of ways. Lighting in many ways lets you know time of day. It sets a certain mood for a space. And it also is a visual signal or trigger to let you know where you are quite often. So a lot of times when we hear about lighting, it's a little bit deeper than just the fact of illuminating an area, but it's also, and also for other reasons too, for later on, even if it's related to FPS fighting or whatever it is. So this is the first video that they show, and I'm going to show you the second one, and just kind of notice the difference when we go to the docking area. Actually, I'm going to go to the third one. This one's a little bit different, and you'll notice now when he goes to the window, you're going to see a spotlight outside that's moving across. I think it's a javelin that's out there. You're going to see Mars lights rotating, emergency lighting rotating. Can you see that outside? You'll see a spotlight that's actually moving across the building. And you'll see it move across the ship as well when he gets to the window. I think at some point you'll actually see the spotlight go across. So this is the level that they're trying to do with the stations now. Okay.
Cool.
So you can see it has a different mood and a different lighting now with where they have it here versus that very first one where everything was just kind of very brightly lit. Okay. And then the last one on lighting that they did was also a thing that they did, and we can talk about this one a little bit. This is for the homestead lighting, and they're showing the variations of light. And I know you guys said you didn't get a chance to see the newsletter, so you haven't seen this yet, but I'll just let you take a look at it. And chat, you guys, of course, can say what you all think about this lighting stuff as well. But they're showing how all the lights are independent of each other, and they often do different types of lighting. The one on the desk looks more like a warmer tone light, like that little lamp that they gave us earlier in the game. Some of you never got the lamp, but there was a lamp that was given out as a flare. Yeah. And so it has a more warmer light, where the dome light on the ceiling is a much more whiter light. And then they actually show when it happens when you turn off all the lights completely in the room.
All I have to say is this is lit.
All right, let me go to Mr. Salty first. Go Map. What do you think about the lighting? I'm just teasing. I know he's over there gritting his teeth right about now, so I had to mess with him a little bit. But Go Map, what do you think about the? I mean, do you think anything with the lighting is cool as you've seen so far, or with the docking or anything like that?
No, yeah, I definitely like the lighting. Hold on, let me mute the stream. Hold on. Mm-hmm. So I like the lighting, right? You know, it seems like they did a quick little lighting pass on like the Connie and stuff like that, and some of the ships, and I appreciate what they've done with that. I like how they've, in general, always used the lighting to signal different things. Like before a couple patches ago, when they did the different, like the refinery decks and the different elevators, you could always when you would go to different ports, like landing zones, the ones in space, the space ports, you know, sometimes you would go to them, you wouldn't know how to get to, say, the place to call your ships or to the shop. So you say, okay, well, somebody told me, hey, look for the orange lighting to get towards the ships, and the blue lighting to get towards the shops. And once I learned that and started to, you know, understand how they use those lighting to signal stuff, it helped me out a lot. So I appreciate the lighting pass. I think it's one of the things that definitely separates Star Citizen from like an Elite Dangerous. It gives that level of realism and detail in the sim that is just unparalleled from any other game in the genre.
Yeah,
I'm listening to Go Map, but all I can think of is like it would suck if you're colorblind, though.
I mean, the game would suck if you were blind, period. Yeah. So, but yeah,
right, that's true. Fitz, let me ask you: how do you the scene we're looking at right now? How does this play into FPS or just gameplay at a homestead or at some place? I mean, being able to control lights like that.
Big time. One thing about I'll say my pops just we got an OLED, and I'm gonna tell you, detail of black is big when you're trying to do FPS, and being able to see people, especially in dark areas like this. I mean, one thing I will say though about lighting is that I would like, hopefully, and I'm quite sure they will, but you know, hopefully the optimization on lighting is, you know, superb in this game, because lighting can tax the hell out of your video card.
Yeah, definitely. Admiral, do you see this as being a means, like if you're in an FPS situation, like for example, in this situation, it's nighttime, right? If someone is approaching your base, your home, just strategically, does it give you some advantages to be able to turn off the lights so that they can't, you know, pop you from outside when you're walking, you know, through your hallways or whatever?
I think even like it does reverse, even if like they have night vision in the game and you have some type of signal that you can hit and turn all these floodlights on so that you know where they are and you know they get blinded instantly. And then that might help you out. Certainly some type of flare would be cool, but I mean, the lighting here is amazing. And the idea of just be able to turn a light switch on, which seems so mundane, but like to like make the mood your own. Like if you can make the same, you can have the generic base or whatever, and 1,000 people could have the same thing. But you're putting stuff in there like, I want a coffee pot, and I'm going to spend $5 for a coffee pot. And, and like real money for this stuff for some people. They'll probably sell this stuff like they do for the one of those quote unquote origin ships, and then you just go in there like, hey, I want my ship to look this color inside, or my house to look this color inside. You buy it, you go online right now, you can look up like Acura and Mercedes-Benz and all that stuff, and they're making like LED lights throughout the cabins that you can have different colors. I mean, people have been doing this, a long time. I had like an older Honda Civic back in 1999, and I had a blue light under the wells, where your legs are at. But now they're like, mainstream automobile manufacturers have wanted it. So this is the same way where people want. They understand this. People want this stuff, and this is just the beginning of it. It's just cool. It really is cool, and it's just like the way you look at it, how it is in real life, and then you see that like a way that their SIG is trying to do it here in the game.
Okay. Pops, I got one question for you. Do you like the lamp on the table, the sconces on the wall on the left, or the big light on top in the middle of the ceiling? Which ones do you like best?
Man, I like that lamp. Gotta have that.
Give me some candles.
Some candles? Oh, that'd be cool. Some candles would be cool.
It's just becoming I mean, when you sit in front of your monitor and you look at, it's almost it's kind of an extension of your home. Because I mean, I'm big on decorating your home and things. And most games just have that overhead light. Where this one you have a choice of lighting and mood, and I mean, it's just like the difference in the where you show in the beginning the blue scene where the ship was docking. Right. The difference in those two, with the red light flash and it's just a submersion that it
makes a difference.
And to go along with Admiral said that you spend $1,000 on the ship, you would expect your 890 jump, the lighting in that ship to be different than the lighting in Aurora or something like that. You just would expect it to be different.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right. Well, last but not least, and Fastcart, is there? Are you gonna reside at a homestay at Fastcart, or are you going to live on a planet or a moon? What are you thinking about?
I'm probably gonna live in my ship, my BMM, or my Endeavor. Try to do those research. But I'm probably gonna have an apartment or someplace or something in Ontario, hopefully.
Okay.
Hey, he gonna have a beach house on Hurston too. So.
Okay, fair enough. All right, the last two images that we have here, gang, are just some shots. These weren't any video, but these were some new shots of the hospital that's been filled out in New Babbage. This shot here is actually a hallway shot. If you look down the depth of it, it's a hallway that follows through. And then the final shot here is of the lobby, and this is the one that they've told us is going to be at the base of the nest building. The window above, you can kind of look upward and see. And I just want to kind of present a question to everybody in the chat. This whole thing about medical gameplay, because in 3.14, we're going to start seeing this shift. We've been really into mining, but it seems like they're going to start changing the gears a little bit into medical stuff. So one of the things you're going to get in 3.14 is the Gray Cat multi-tool healing attachment. That's going to be coming out. Also, the Cure Life medical tool is going to be coming out, and NPC healing is going to come out. And this is all, as you guys know, tied into, I'm sorry, not New Babbage. Is this New Babbage or Orison? The hospital. Do you guys remember? I forgot. I said New Babbage. I can't remember.
Like New Babbage.
I can't remember which one it is. Yeah, or no.
Babbage.
No.
Uri said New Babbage.
Is it New Babbage? Chat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Uri.
Yeah, look at the tower.
New Babbage. Okay, the tower. Yeah, because of the tower, right? Okay. So, yeah, Brentworth is New Baggage. Thank you, Kate. Okay, so, are any of you guys interested in that? The medical stuff? Are any of you guys thinking about, hey, this is great, I can finally break my Cutlass Red out and maybe do some stuff? Or are you guys kind of like, nah, it's not my thing. I can go with Pops first. I'll start with Pops.
Now, I'm just wondering, is it going to be blood in the game?
Good question. Good question.
I mean, when you shoot somebody, you're operating on them, and you have to have cleanup.
Good question. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen blood yet, but that doesn't mean they're not planning to have it in the future. But,
I mean,
it's gonna be a mature game, so I imagine they can add blood, but as far as right now, there isn't any, as far as I know.
Yeah, only when you die you get that little red flash, but that's about the closest that I've seen to anything. Yeah.
And I've looking at the scenery, I'm just wondering if they'll have, like, if you walk in and you're shot, will they run and get a gurney and throw you on the gurney? And,
or you got to limp your way to the emergency room. Good question. We've only seen this entrance area. We really haven't seen where livery's going to take place, like where the Cutlass Reds can land and bring you in and all that stuff. We haven't seen that yet, so that's something to be seen. Go Mad, what about you? Interested in anything with the medical stuff, or are you out there making your money?
No, yeah, I've been thinking about the medical stuff lately. First of all, please, let's hope they don't like have a surgeon simulator mini game and as part of the
operation.
Don't touch the edge.
Don't touch the
edge. Oh my God! Please, just no.
Don't touch the edge on his nose.
Oh, you just took it. Damn it, fastcart.
Operation. Yeah, playing operation. No. But I've been thinking about medical gameplay. It's like, hey, if you're gonna have that, right? I wonder if they're gonna have like some kind of medical gameplay suits or armor where like you have additional protection, but you're not able to have a weapon, right? So you can run into the battlefield, and even if the jerk that tried to take somebody down is still there, he can shoot at you, but they can't really hurt you while you evacuate somebody, right? Or are you just as vulnerable to getting got, right? As you're trying to pull somebody off the battlefield. I wonder if they've thought about that, or thought about putting something like that in there. Just have like a separate type of medical armor where you're not completely impervious, but you can take a lot more damage while you're trying to evacuate somebody off the battlefield.
That's a good point. Fizz, what about you? Medical interested or no?
Yes, I'm very interested. Two things about it. Number one is, what kind of insurance do I need to have in order to go to this place?
Right.
Number two is, if the insurance is going to be that serious, then I want to be on the other end of it, receiving it. So,
okay.
Hey, that's me.
All right. Fair enough. Admiral, I know you said fastcart took your operation joke, but any thoughts about medical?
Okay, so I had a couple here. Yes, it's definitely needed. I kind of thought about, will we have a vehicle like the Rock that's going to be usable for an ambulance? Also, with rolling carts now, going off of, I forget if it was Pop or not, but someone mentioned gurneys. So when I land at a location, does the person automatically go to the hospital, or do they have to come to the ship, load the person on a gurney with wheels, and then race them off to the hospital? So because everything is kind of, there's a time sink it tends to see, but at times I kind of think they just kind of say it's game magic. Where's that game magic line at in the sand?
It's a good point.
A
But
it's like you say that, and all I'm imagining now is someone flopping around on a gun and they're being pushed along and falling off.
Imagine that. Imagine like someone was like going into code and they're like trying to like zap them and shit. That'd be so cool. You'd be like, whoa, who's that?
And he falls off the gun. You got to put him back on.
Yeah.
All right, we've had Surasawa Kuno join us. Surasawa, how are you? I should say Kuno. You said call you Kuno. How are you, man?
Good evening. Good to see y'all. I'm doing well.
Good. What about you as far as medical gameplay? You interested in that, or is that something you're kind of staying away from?
Well, I'm personally interested, but I kind of had a thought. This might seem a little bit obvious, but doesn't it seem like at least some minimal amount, like a first aid level? Doesn't everybody in the game need to know and be involved in medical gameplay, even if it's not a primary thing? I mean, if you're out mining, like hand mining, and you fall down through the cave, you're going to need to be patched up, right? And you might not be out there trying to do medical gameplay, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those skills that is going to be a fundamental player skill set that everyone will have to at least dabble in a little bit if they're serious about getting out in the world and doing stuff.
Yeah. To answer your question, go ahead, fastcart, we can say.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's the reason why I'm going to get life alert in game. I've fallen and I can't get up.
Well, actually, somebody was just mentioning about, if somebody codes and zapping them with the defibrillator. Speaking of coding, here's an interesting concept. What if you have some NPCs that you roll up on that, it's part of a random encounter that they're injured, and you find out, okay, 9 out of 10 of them, they need help, you're going to help them, but maybe that 10th one has a DNR order that they put out there.
You're going to get sued.
Well,
I was supposed to die.
Let me answer your question. Let me answer your question about the skill level. As you mentioned, Star Citizen is not going to be based, quote unquote, on skill, but we have talked about proficiency, and we've also talked about reputation, and we've also talked about inventory. Now, here's the deal. There are some people who will carry, for example, like right now, we have like our med pins, right? Which they said are going to change. Med pins are no longer going to do what they do now. Right now, we stab ourselves with them. We go back to 100%. Med pins will later, once you hit yourself with them, it will be temporary and your health will begin to fall off again. So it will only give you, we don't know what the time frame may be. It may be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, but your health is going to fail. So that's the first thing. So that's going to be the basic thing that everybody can do. Will everybody carry a cure life on them? Will everybody carry the attachments for the multi-tool with them? No, because inventory is going to become limited. You will only be carrying so many things with you. And there will be a lot of people who will rather carry an extra few clips of ammo or an extra whatever other item or food or whatever it is, and they will sacrifice and not carry the things that they would need to maybe heal a group of people. Then again, there are going to be those people who travel with you who are going to med up and carry all the things that they need. So in case someone in their group needs to be taken care of, they can do that.
Well, that brings up an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for example, you're one of those players that hasn't brought any medical related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be a game mechanic equivalent to put pressure on this, and that's all you can do, but you can do that until somebody else is able to bring over something more heavy duty?
I have not seen anything on a physical level that we can do. The lowest level thing that they've talked about is the med pin, and that it is changing. So if and that's one of the reasons. I was going to say that's one of the reasons why the meds pin is transferable now too. Remember, before you could only use it on you, and it's now you can hand them off to other people, and they're transferable at this point. Go ahead, fastcart. What were you going to say?
I can imagine there's going to be different levels of med pens. Like something like you said, they're going to be like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever. And the better, they're more expensive, obviously, or the harder to make. Well, I mean, I can see someone having an endeavor and making money just making med pens.
Well, that's why they mentioned about the Cure Life and the other items, because the Cure Life has those different cartridges that go inside of them that may carry different types of medicines. And you mentioned something else, Kuno. It's not just healing players, but there is going to be NPC healing as well. So again, we don't know what that scale is going to be for reputation. Like when you're a doctor, if I look at you and I can look at your reputation and say, hey, Kuno's really good at, maybe it's cybernetics. Maybe it's because you've done enough cybernetics that your reputation says this is the guy to go to. Where, yeah, maybe fastcart can do cybernetics, but maybe his odds of getting it right could be completely off because his reputation, he hasn't done it enough, you know. So, you know, it's not going to be...
You don't want me operating on you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know how they're going to do that, but we do know the reputation of the different things that you can do in the game is going to follow you, whether that's how quickly you can transport people, how well you are as a fighter, or a bounty hunter, or even a medical person. So we'll have to see how they iron that out.
On the next Inside Star Citizen Med School.
Okay.
Hey, don't give Chris Roberts any ideas.
Okay. You're going to hear some variation of the ER theme playing through certain parts of the game.
There you go. All right, we're going to jump to the roadmap real quick, and we're just going to cover these very quickly because we've got to get into the SCL for this week, and it's an hour long. So fastcart's going to take us through that real quick. So let's talk about that.
Yep, I just put in the link in Twitch chat. Roadmap temporarily removed. You got the physical QT movement, the phys area refactoring, the water physics, the large object buoyancy, a Grimhex race, prison V3, dynamic population, bounty hunter V2, mission manager app, Grimhex race, org perks and benefit, and notification system T0. Those are the ones that have been removed.
So let's talk about.
Go on?
Well, let's talk about that first. Is there anything? Let's just pick one from the list. Admiral, if there's one on there that breaks your heart that's gotten removed, which one would it be?
I wouldn't say it breaks my heart. I was just going to bring up water physics because, I mean, if you watch that show with the rubber ducky, the big rubber ducky anyways, it seemed to be working pretty well. I kind of think maybe they're at a point where they have done everything that they need to do to make it work up to a certain level, and they probably expect to need to refinish it down the road, so they probably just took it off.
Okay.
Maybe because it just there's no reason to work on it, or the servers can't handle it, etc.
Okay. Fist, what about you?
I am going to say org perks and benefits simply because this is one of the things that my org has been dying to see me put into the game. You know, and that one kind of breaks the heart. But you know, it's an understanding if there's something that is, you know, maybe there's something they have to work on it a little bit better, or if there's a higher item on the list that needs to be fixed, and this is just something later, you know, a low tier item, you know what I mean, things like that.
And let me say this: this is what the newsletter did say. It said that because of other things that had higher priority, these things were removed, so it's temporary. They will come back. Okay, good.
It's understandable.
Would anything break your heart on here, Go Map?
I mean, they must have really not liked that Grimhex race because they killed it twice.
Yeah, they did. They did. You're right. You're right.
But you know, I kind of was looking forward to see what they was going to do with the notifications. They kind of seem just kind of thrown up on the screen right now. I've been really digging bounty hunting since they killed trading, so you know, maybe I'll lose a little bit of interest in that if trading comes back and is actually viable again. But you know, making that a little bit more dynamic and less wash, rinse, repeat, like it is right now. You know, you just get the mission, find the guy, kill the guy, get another mission, and do it again. I was
hoping for that one too, because I wanted to see that start implementing with the whole grabbing and dragging and putting them in a Cutlass Blue. You know what I mean? That's what I was hoping D2 was going to be.
But I mean, I'm in all, I'm okay with them being realistic, taking things off the roadmap, adding things that they feel like, you know, the things that they're adding, I think there are good things that people are actually wanting, and being realistic, say, hey, we're going to focus on these things, get it out, and improve the quality of life of the players.
Okay, cool. Pops, what breaks your heart on that list? Anything?
Water.
The water?
Yeah. After seeing the video they showed with the water, you know, them building the river tech. Plus, you know, some, you know, obviously it says large object. I don't know if that means large bodies of water. You know,
large objects. Large objects. Guess what large objects we're talking about?
890 jump.
Oh man, okay.
Well, ships. I'm assuming some type of ship. You know, because it's only the large object.
No, it's the egos of the 890 jump owners.
Oh boy! I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna let that go. All right, Kuno. Yeah, Kuno. Anything off the list that you hate to see go?
Not really. I'm not easy to perturb with most of this stuff as long as I know it's not permanent. Because I kind of figure, you know, as long as they're getting the back end stuff straight and out first, it's kind of like we've said in the past. I'm more interested in making sure that they have everything ironed out really good in the back end, so that things can start rolling out, features can roll out, and content can roll out on a more rapid basis. So I just, you know, with things like this, as long as it's not a permanent thing, it doesn't tend to bother me very much.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Fastcart. What else we got there? What's added?
What was added? You got selling, persistent hangers, and persistent halves. In addition, we're adding 20 teams to the public roadmap today. Within those 20 teams is more than 100 new deliverables. That's a hard word to say.
Okay. So selling. This is something I think everybody would be excited about. GoMab referenced this. You will now be able to, for example, when you kill a guard and you take his gun or you take whatever they have, you can now bring that to stores and sell them and get money for them. Items in your inventory that you want to get rid of, you can trade back and sell and get credits for. Persistent hangers and persistent halves. Now this one's real vague, but it implied that you will now be able to have persistence in your hangers and it says personal hangers and personal halves. So I don't know if that means that when you wake up, whatever hab you're in, it's yours, or whether or not they're going to start. Some of you don't know, or some of you may know, that you literally in the game will be able to have places where you live. So in our corp, there may be a building that you live in, some space that you live in, and it will be yours, and you can decorate it. Your hangar will be the same thing. They've never really defined how we're going to have hangars, but many of you know when you bought your ship, it mentioned that there's a certain type of hangar that came with it. You're supposed to be able to have access to that hangar. And as many of you know, we used to be able to decorate our hangars with our flare. And so eventually it was supposed to be where you could even invite your friends over to your hangar. So we'll have to see where that leads to. Admiral, go ahead, Fastcart.
Let me put back a little bit. They did define it a little bit, but it was like 6 years ago, so I might change their mind. But you know, if you have like an asteroid base or whatever, then if you're a pirate or someplace and you're going to hang out in Pyro, you have an asteroid hangar. If you're rich and whatever, and you have an arrow or the wood one, I forgot. Start with one of those hangars, then you can live in Terra or on Earth or whatever. So they did define it a little bit, but it's been so long they probably changed their mind about it.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? Sure. You spoke about the hangars. I know talking about decorating with flares, and I know if I remember correctly, there was one of the flares was a jukebox, right? Yeah. Now, question about that jukebox. I heard that you could stream your own music.
That's correct.
Into the game.
That's correct.
Now, is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I don't know if it still works.
No, it's not. No, none of that stuff's working right now. But before, it would play some of the Star Wars themes, and at one point, you were able to treat it like an iTunes. You know what I mean? Like play your own playlist or whatever of stuff.
Now, would other people be able to hear that as well?
That's the question. And that's what's supposed to be what happens. That's why it's there when people come over to your place. But again, they've never really given us a clear path on how they're going to, do that whole thing where people can come over and visit you and hang out and check out your music.
And I don't think that they'll be allowed to do that, because that's a whole DMCA.
Yeah, you're into a whole issue. Right. Well, that's a good question. We'll have to see where that goes. That's a good question. That's a real good question.
I mean, if you're not streaming it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If it's not being played publicly, I'm wondering.
That's true.
But it's hard to say. But right now, it plays the Star Citizen music. That's what it was playing before. Was Pedro's music before.
One of the questions you have to ask is what becomes the legal definition of streaming. If you've got 3 people in your hangar, are you streaming or are you not, legally speaking?
Yeah. Okay, that gets too deep for me. My law license doesn't go that far. My law license doesn't go that far. Okay, let's go to this next page here.
Did you do selling?
Oh, did we do sell? We didn't talk about that, did we? We talked about selling.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I did. That was the first thing I talked about.
You mentioned it. Yeah, he did.
We didn't talk about selling. We were going to talk about selling, and then we went to the hangars. Really quick.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. So let's talk about selling. What would you want to say about selling?
Okay. So this is something that most games has had that I've known, especially MMOs, for like 10 plus years. So it's something we need. My biggest question is, are we going to be able to use like a GTN or a trade market? So say, hey, like I picked up 10 rifles. Does anybody want to buy these 10 rifles? Or I'm just going to sell them, tomorrow if you don't want to buy them. Because that would be a really economy-driven thing. And then it comes down to if I have these persistent hangars and persistent habs, there must be a total amount of cargo space that I have to keep there. And, what are those limits going to be? How to deal with that, I guess.
Okay, play the last one for me one more time.
So, so how much cargo does a hab hold? Can it hold 1,000 rounds,
okay.
1,000 magazines? Because I know people like to, hoard stuff. And how many guns can you put in there? What's the limit going to be for like storage?
Hey, stop criticizing my hobbies.
I'll watch your Discovery Show program.
So in a hab, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So
with the limitation,
I can't just put everything inside the. I can't put everything inside the living room in a hab. It has to go.
Oh no, right? No, well, a hab is a hab. I don't think
box.
Yeah, well, I don't think a hab is intended to hold all that stuff. I mean,
you're talking about like the little condo right now, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying your ships are the other place where you store things. That's the other place where things are persistent.
If they're going to initialize hangars to be able to hold stuff, they're going to initialize habs to hold stuff. Like it just can't be infinite.
Oh, right. No, absolutely. I'm sure there'll be some cutoff point, because 500 items. In fact, the hangars currently had a cutoff list because you couldn't put all your flair in there. It got to a certain point where it wouldn't let you place anymore. And so I would assume, to your point, especially the hangar, I would think that would be like the place to store. But what that count would be, who knows? Yeah, you would have to kind of.
I just want to say, hi, Jake. We have a CIG VIP.
Oh, Jake is here. Hey, Jake. How you doing, Jake? Okay.
Congrats on your promotion.
Jake was promoted 2 months ago. You told him that long time ago.
I must have been looking at something old then.
Oh no. Okay. So anyway, what it does say is this great work that grants players the ability to have their own personal persistent hangars. This will also bring changes to the cargo gameplay loop by allowing players to pack their grids manually. So that's another factor, guys. You'll be able to start packing your stuff in your ships manually. Okay. All right.
So if you can pack your grids manually, that means you have to have some place they have to be able to not be on the grid. Before. So yeah, I can see that the hangars having some sort of storage where you can stack it up with boxes and then load them up to your ships and go somewhere. But
that's bring in the cart game,
the dollies and everything. Yep, all that stuff starts to make sense at that point. Yeah,
I'm my own gameplay. When did it happen?
Okay, fastcart. What about 3.13x? What do we got to look forward to?
We got missions. We got mission spawn closet, ship to station docking, tumble nova tonk. I like the tonk in there. Crusader M2 Hercules Starlifter, Crusader C2 Hercules Starlifter.
Alrighty, thank you for the subscription. 2 months in a row. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Yeah.
Next page, Griff.
Come on, it's got to be something. You got to tell me what you like, Admiral. Which one of those are you looking forward to?
You're not. You got to move. You have to move forward a page. You're still on the.
Oh, am I still on the other page? Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Alrighty, there we go. Which of those is the one that brightens your eye, Admiral?
I really want to see the Nova tank, and I really want to see my M2.
Okay.
So maybe I really want to see my Nova tank in my M2.
Okay, Nova tank and M2.
You're not saying it right. It's Tonk.
Nova tank and M2. All right.
No. I want my Nova tank in my M2, and then I'm gonna like push it out the back like in the A team, and then shoot people on the ground.
Oh my god! Fist to face. Which one is the one that catches your eye?
Actually, I have to echo what Admiral said, because I'm looking forward to the Tonk and
there you go
M2 as well. You know, because I have a M2, so I'm itching to get into that driver's seat and pull out and just like stack a whole bunch of either rocks in there or put a couple of Tonks in there and do a couple, simulate a nice little Battlefield 3 or, battle going on out there, something like that.
Okay. Go map.
Well, I did not buy a Tonk, but I did buy a C2, and so I am hoping that cargo trading is back, at least somewhat profitable enough for me to go play that 30K roulette again.
Okay, fair enough. Pops, what about you?
Hercules, huh? M2, yeah.
Are you C2 or M2?
M2. Well, my son has the
M2. Okay, so you're gonna help him fly that one. Okay.
Yeah, we kind of flip flop on. He buys certain types of, and I buy certain types of ships. So he has the M2. But I'm also interested in the docking.
Okay, and the docking as well.
I think it's cool.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, Kuno.
I know this is probably the least popular for people to say, but I'm actually looking forward to spawn closets, because I think honestly that's going to open up new forms of gameplay possibilities. I mean, granted, we're not ourselves going in and out of the spawn closets, obviously, but I have a feeling that as CIG implements and iterates on them, we're going to be able to see new forms of gameplay and whatnot come online that we haven't even considered. I mean, don't get me wrong, C2 is freaking awesome and Tonk's awesome, but fundamentally we do, even though the Tonk will definitely be shooting each other in a way that we generally haven't seen before, we have still at least seen shooting each other. What if, for example, we end up with spawn closets that allow us now to get rid of the green zones, where we can actually open up our weapons now, and maybe we can actually fire defensively in places that we couldn't before if we get attacked by someone and not get a crime stat because we're doing it defensively. And now because we've got spawn closets there, security can actually respond to people that are doing, kicking up bad juju.
Right.
That's all. Like I said, I think it'll be, if you'll forgive the pun because I hate this phrase, but I think it'll be a game changer.
Okay. All right. Fastcart, how about you? What are you looking forward to out of that list?
I don't have any of them. I mean, I'm looking forward to people playing around with their Tonks. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing that gameplay. But I don't. Ship to station docking. I'm interested in.
Okay.
Next to the Tonk.
Okay. Ship to station docking. For me, go ahead.
No, I will say that I can't wait to see the bugs in the spawn closets where they just keep spawning NPCs, and they just come out looking like Mr. Anderson on the second Matrix.
You know what they could do in the spawn closet? Spawn spiders. That'll freak out Gigi.
Spawn. I don't want to spawn any spiders anywhere. Ugh. For me, I would say the things that I want to look forward to are the Crusader ships as well as the Tonk. And there's a different reason though. I'm hoping, and this is a really big hope, I'm hoping that between the Tumbrel vehicles, the M2s, the Ballista, the implementation of guided and dumb missiles, along with the Tonk and the Hercules ships, that people will start creating these dynamic events of combat on ground. I would love to see, somebody land these C2s and see 3 or 4 tanks roll out of them, and people going in and start, having battles on the ground. I would love to see something like that just kind of happen naturally. I know we don't have things to quote unquote fight over, but maybe somebody wants to hold down a bunker or a base. Some other people here, hey, they're over there. Let's go over there and take these folks on. I would love to see that kind of, kind of generate out of this in kind of a natural way with those tools being out there. Because as you guys know right now, spawning vehicles at Shubin Mining and trying to find something, forget it. So I would love to see that happen.
I think we have a PSA coming. Let's hear the PSA real quick.
A PSA. Where's the PSA coming?
GG.
Oh, she's here. Oh, hey, GG. She's another one. Okay. Let's see. The subscriber.
Griff, are we supposed to get dumb bombs in this when that comes out?
The MT. No. The MTs can fire dumbfire. It can fire dumbfire as well as guided.
Oh, you're talking about that tumbrel. Okay.
The tumbrel. Yeah. So, real quick, the last thing we want to hit on very quickly is subscriber promotions for this month. And we're getting a raid from Sergeant Tickles. Sergeant Tickles, thank you so much for that raid. We're a party of 60. Welcome, Tickles fans. We appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out with us. Sergeant, thank you so much. And we hope you had a grand night with all the Tickles, the Ticklers, all your friends, your fans, your followers. We appreciate that. And thank you guys for the follows. Thank you so much. We are talking about the April subscriber promotions right now. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it. Did anybody from our chat get to see it? Admiral, did you get to see the promotion that was given this month?
You're talking about like the stuff for sale?
No. You know how they give us a flare each month. What was it, Pops?
The cat helmet. The cat helmet.
Yes, we got the Star Kitten. Yeah. The Star Kitten.
Star Kitten helmet. I love it.
Listen.
I'm not a sub.
Listen. The Star Kitten helmet. There's a Star Kitten. There's a Star Kitten helmet. There is a Star Kitten Sally helmet and a Star Kitten Damon helmet. By the way, they do come with the full set of armor, so it's not just the helmet. You do get the entire suit.
Oh, really?
So if you want that, yes. Okay. Now, listen, some of y'all might be laughing about that Star Kitten stuff. I laughed when they did that Star Kitten bike, but you can't find that bad fella. It's rare, and nobody will sell them bad fellas to you. So I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen with his armor, but, go.
The armor should have a tail.
Yeah, go figure. Go figure.
Okay, quick question.
Go Mab. Wait a minute. Go Mab justified it. Thank you, Go Mab. That's what you got to recall it. He calls it the T'Challa helmet. So if y'all look at it that way, you can go ahead and take it and buy it.
Yeah, okay? I'll take it like that. Black Panther.
Okay.
Pink Panther.
There you go. All right. Ship of the month is the 600i. For those of you who are interested in that, that is the ship of the month that you can fly around if you're a subscriber. The subscriber exclusive is the Crusader Mercury Star Runner. Normally, when they do that, that's for 6 months, but they've done it with an extended insurance of 12 months, even though I would recommend just waiting a little longer and maybe getting it for longer than that. And then, let's see, the merchandise store. For those of you, Jake, I saw you say this in chat earlier. Some of you are big Crusader fans. They have a bunch of new Crusader items in the merchandise store. So I think they've got a jacket or a shirt. They've got mugs. They got some other Crusader items in there. So if you're into Crusader, you might want to go by and visit the store. If you're a subscriber, you'll get a discount. You guys already know that if you're a subscriber. And last but not least, we will present this to our members in our chat and see if any of them know what that is. Anybody know what that is there?
I do.
Redeemer.
Yes.
I would say yes.
Yes, that is the Redeemer. And so as you guys know, CIG, when they do that, they're kind of dropping us a little hint. But it's letting us know that it's coming along. Jinx is a hair straightener. I know. Kuno, do you own a Redeemer? Yes or no? Oh, Kuno's mic, he's mic'd. He might have stepped away for a second. Oh, there he is.
No, I just generally am keeping my mic muted when I'm not actively talking. Sorry. No, I do not own a Redeemer.
Are you interested in one, or is that one you're going to take a pass on?
Define interested.
If you can get one in the game, would you get one?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Pops, how about you? Do you own one?
I bought one, but I jumped up from that to the
I think you did the Endeavor, the Super Pack.
You updated to the Endeavor from that? Okay.
Yeah, from that.
All right.
I'm interested in it, but I want to really see how it moves and how it handles. I know those engines are unique, I'm really interested. I'm quite sure it's probably going to have some kind of a secret about the way about those engines.
Okay. Go, Matt. How about you?
I don't own one, and I don't see myself going for one at the moment. I just don't see a slot for it in my gameplay at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay. Fist?
We don't own one. But I too would like to see how the way this operates and everything. But real quick, can we go back to that kitty helmet and stuff? I did not know that was $10 a piece. That's $30 now. I got to think about, because oh man, because see, I like flair in this game now, man. Oh man. Oh man! All right, well, all right, no problem.
Well, you can just become good friends with somebody who's a subscriber who doesn't want it, and they can gift it to you. So you can look at it that way too. You know.
Yeah, I am a subscriber, so it's just I was looking at it when fastcart posted the links. I was like, oh man, because I like all three of them.
Well, you'll get one as a subscriber. The other two is the ones you got to buy.
Gotta get the other two.
Yeah, so you just got to get two.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so that's $20. Okay,
yeah, so 33% off. 33% off. Okay.
Okay. Like my dad always say, all right, well that's your lunch money for the month.
There you go.
Griff, you were talking about Crusader stuff that you can get on the store now, like hoodies and clothing and whatnot. I want to know when, since I'm a person who likes Anvil personally, when are they going to come out with an Anvil branded, like literally Anvil?
An anvil? I don't know if they'll ever do an anvil. That would be.
Well, they did the socks, so you never know.
Yeah, they've had the mugs, the socks, the shirt. I don't know what else I can't remember what else they may have done. Anvil. That might be a bit much.
Hey,
I don't know.
I think Jake liked the idea. Yeah, Jake said it's genius, so he probably going to run that up to 10.
Admiral Kusanagi. The shipping on that would cost?
Oh, God. Yeah, I know. Admiral Kusanagi about the Redeemer. What about you? Anything with the Redeemer? Interested or no?
I kind of are these alien thrusters?
No, they're not.
I know they were like, you know, fan designed, and I just the kind of irks me a little bit because I'm just trying to figure out the technology and stuff like that. Even though the Nomad also doesn't make sense in a way, but I mean, space and game and all that stuff. So space magic is very cool. I like the fact it's a gunship now, and it's you know, it's kind of well, for a gunship size, and you're thinking about a constellation, this is a lot smaller than that, and so if it can have maybe similar firepower, that'd be pretty cool. You know, you guys are talking about the Star Kit and stuff, and I just wanted to if like the Voyager Direct is going to come back out. That's a totally separate subject, but you made me think of it, and I was like, hey, you know, I'd like to be able to purchase guns with cash again, and because I still have stuff in my account that's equipable that I bought with cash like 4 years ago. So yeah, so and if I could put it on this ship, or if I wanted another ship, that'd pretty nice, I think.
Can I ask a question about the because since you mentioned that this is a gunship, the Redeemer, what size guns are on here, and how many people, how many turns?
I can look. They increased the guns on this now. It has a size. Is it a size 5 and a 3 or a size 7 and a 5? I don't remember. That bottom gun now is huge on this thing.
I'm on right
what
now.
They did was this used to be both a gunship / drop ship. And they shifted away from the dropship piece because of ships like the Hoplite and the Valk and all the other stuff. Now you can still carry, I think, 5 people or something like that on it, but I think there are 3 gun positions in this thing, or 2, the pilot plus 2 gun positions. I think they're remote. But I know that the new gun on here. Does anybody in chat remember what the new guns are? The config. Because I don't know.
I'm looking at the ship spec thing, but it's a year old, so I don't know if it's up to date.
What does it say?
It says for guns, TBD, weapon TBC, and then it says 3 CEF 337 Panthers and 2 missile 2BC.
Nah, it's way more, because they had when they did the show on it, they outlined all the weapons on it. It is loaded with guns. It is loaded with guns now. I would comparably put it against the Valkyrie when it comes to, matter of fact, probably more than the Valkyrie when it comes to guns. So it's definitely a gunship. I'm like the Admiral. I am kind of curious about the technology. It's an Aegis ship. I am curious about, you know, the whole thing with the wings in the back. You know, the way the engines are configured. If they're going to create something special for it, I always hope that they would swing open so that the lighted part would be facing downward when it landed, and it would fold back when it took off. But who knows what the animation is going to be and whether it's going to have any significance to that particular ship. So,
got a question, Griff.
Yeah.
In the original Next Great Starship that produced the Redeemer, they had, the team that made it originally had a cargo loading crane and a little cargo compartment that went in the back. Has that been retained?
No, that's gone. Yeah, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, they're the guys that created this ship, and they let that's gone. Because at one point,
cool feature too.
It had all the configurations. In fact, at one point, it attached across the back. At one point, then they removed that, and then it kind of became the configuration that it is now. It's a slightly bulkier design now, but they retained a lot of what's inside, but they moved a few things around on the interior. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like. But I say this, and I've said this for the longest time. I had plenty of people who kept asking me, Griff, you know, should I get rid of my Redeemer? I want to get my Redeemer. And I'm like, don't get rid of it. Trust me, do not get rid of it. We just got another raid from Astropub. Astropub, thank you so much with a raid of 83. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. Hello, Astropub friends. Thank you guys for coming in here tonight with us. Everybody's closing down tonight. We're going to be closing down pretty soon too, so I hate to say that we're going to be leaving soon. Did I get fastcart, the Redeemer? What are your thoughts about the Redeemer? You were here when you were here from the contest all the way till now. What do you think?
No, I was just after the contest. Actually, I missed the contest by a few months.
You missed it. Oh, okay.
But I missed it by a few months. But I do like the new looks of previews and everything that they've been showing so far. I personally won't get it, and I won't buy it. I may get it in the PU, but it'll be low on my priority list. Okay. But I do like the look that they're giving it, because when it came out, they didn't really have the design language set out for Aegis and Anvil and all the manufacturers. So it's obvious that they had to go back and redo this to make it fit the Aegis design language. So.
Yep. In fact, there was a
fastcart.
Go ahead.
Right, sorry, Griff.
No, go ahead.
I just want to ask fastcart if he's going to use it to replace another ship like the Connie, or to fill another role he thinks it would be easier to use.
Honestly, I have a Redeemer to Merchantman CCU, so if I use it for anything, it'll be that. No, but if I get it in the PU, I'll find something to do with it. It's not like I said. It's low on my priority. I like it for the look, basically. I'll just keep it in my hangar to like say, oh, pretty.
Considering how cool that ship looks, I'm sort of surprised that that CIG didn't actually use the Redeemer to do a heavy amount of informing on the direction of the style guide for Aegis.
You know, it's so hard to say, because if I'm remembering back then, and we've had this conversation before talking about the style guides for each of the manufacturers, and I remember distinctly that was a huge transition for them to start moving toward, you know, the distinction of every manufacturer. And in fact, the Redeemer, the problem with the Redeemer is that in a way it didn't fit anybody's style guide. You know, it was kind of like this weird hybrid of stuff. And they kept trying to, I think what they did was they classified it more by the classification of the ship more than design at the time. And I think that's why it ended up going to Aegis. I'm sure it definitely couldn't have gone to Drake, because it was way too armored and, you know, beyond what Drake would do. And it definitely didn't,
sleek too.
Yeah, and it didn't fit MISC either. That was the other thing. The design on it didn't fit MISC. It had much more of a military feel. So I think that's one of the reasons why it kind of went more toward Aegis. the new design that they've done on it, I like it a lot. I like it better. It's sometimes when they go from older designs, it's not that crazy about it. But the way they've done this, it looks really, really nice, and I can't wait to see the interior of the ship and see how that kind of is all panned out.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
May I ask a quick question? How much do you think the price will be when it re-releases?
It's not going to be that price. It's not going to be that price. I can tell you that. I'm only saying that because I think of Valkyrie. What is the Valkyrie right now? It's like 275, 375. I forget how much. Does anybody remember what a Valk runs for now?
I'll look for real quick.
And it's a different type of ship. It doesn't have the cargo capacity and everything else of a Valk. It doesn't have the ability to do a vehicle. 375. Yeah, I would have to say this is going to be, and don't quote me, but my number says 3.25 for this gunship, because it is a very powerful gunship. But I'm
surprised.
That's my number.
I just think that. That ship would probably, like you were saying, like you mentioned, Misk. I kind of feel like it fits Misk a little bit because you've got the Reliant Core, which I think uses an alien tech engine. And then also, I mean, you put like a Freelancer like engines on that ship and like the wings, and that thing would just like look exactly like it'd be like right in its right in the same family. The only thing that sets the ship apart is the main thrusters, which people really don't get right now.
Well, the other thing that this ship has, if you remember, it has that shield thing around it, like the Prowler does.
A Matrix.
That remember those circular.
Yeah, that's like the Nebuchadnezzar from the Matrix.
Yeah, it's got those on it. It's an interesting design on this ship. Like I said, it was like on a weird hodgepodge of a lot of different things. But yeah, I could see, like you said, if you swapped out those engines, I agree. It probably would have been very reminiscent externally of what a Misk ship would look like. Yeah.
Well, and especially since this is a newer Aegis design, at least if I understand the lore correctly, I'm not joking. They ought to start taking things off of this instead of saying, "Hey, this, like you say, it looks like a hodgepodge," but as an entire ship, it's well designed as a like coherent look. It looks very cool, I think, and it would make a lot of sense if, as they start to roll out new Aegis ships in the future that are meant to be quote in lore the new Aegis lineup,
start building around that.
Start taking more and more things from the ship. Those thrusters.
Yeah, this is a prototype that would make more sense.
And especially those thrusters. One of the things about them, as weird as they look, is that it was sort of a combination of main thruster along with a bunch of maneuvering. I mean, it's one main thruster, but the way it's segmented, it has lots of maneuvering thruster aspects to it, like lots of different vectors. I'm not speaking very well right now, but start seeing things like that put on other Aegis designs in the future, I think would be very cool.
Yeah. They did in the animation when we first saw. There was one animation that we saw that they did. It was the one where Ilphonic did the FPS module, and the soldiers arrive in a Redeemer. And as the ship is coming into the hangar, we see the wings on this animate. And I don't know if that had, whether, I don't think it was just because it was trying to fit in the hangar, but it seemed like almost like it was, when it was in a landing approach mode, they do shift. Again, we'll find out what the animations are and if they have any significance, as the ship gets released. Okay, let's jump into. I'm going to make a change tonight, guys. Normally we would be doing SCL, but because it is 12:30, almost my time, which is 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, and SCL is an hour long, I'm not going to torture us to fight the sleep
3 hour
on a
show.
Friday night.
3 hour show.
No, we're not doing a 3 hour show tonight. But we had a really good conversation. We had really great folks in our chat with us tonight, and we had really, really good conversations. So we're going to skip SCL. And of course, you guys can watch SCL over the weekend. It is a good one, but they're just doing kind of a conversation about 3.13, some of the things that they've learned, and some of the things that they're going to be doing forward with this new update. They did give some information about the Rock DS. So for those of you who are wondering, why did they make that thing? It's not that the answer is completely good, but they do give some answers, and they say this is the first iteration. So I would definitely say check that out. Other than that, they're just talking about the update itself. So let's jump into
one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I liked, the first question was about the ship name being so small on ship. They said that they're going to look into it.
Yep. Well, tell them what they said a little bit more, because it wasn't just that they're going to look into it. There was a reason why.
They said it is too small, and I forget the reason why.
It was a technical issue with it. They wanted to be bigger.
Technical.
It's a technical issue with it. If they made it bigger, the letters would start to break apart and fall apart, and they want them bigger. So people were asking, why is it so small? But they did let us know that they're working on that. So like Fastcart said, there's some good stuff in there, but it's an hour long, and we're not going to torture ourselves on a Friday night to stick around for 3 hours. So let's jump into this week's machinima. Fastcart, what's the name of the machinima this week?
This is Star Citizen trailer by Phaseone Gaming Redefined.
Okay. All right, let's check this out.
more shit than you do, Griff.
Alrighty, gonna work from the top down. Admiral, how do you like that particular video? Did you like that one?
It was beautiful. I couldn't count how many times I yawned during it because I was ready to take a nap. It was very nice. The music was pretty good.
A little too soothing.
If I had a pillow, I would not have answered you a second ago.
Okay. Fist, what about you?
That was good. It was nice cinematic.
Let me present a question to you guys, because actually that was a question I was going to ask you, Admiral. I'm sorry I didn't think to ask it. The question is this. A lot of us get drawn into the beauty of Star Citizen. Will the beauty of Star Citizen continue to keep us coming back? Will game mechanics need to keep up with that? Because as we opened the show, we talked about how we noticed already in the PTU that they've improved the graphics, that the game looks much cleaner, much crisper. You can visually tell that they've done some work on it. And it's also answered the thing about how will Star Citizen be able to keep the game current, so that it doesn't look old and get stale. But is that enough to keep us coming back? Does the beauty of it make you continue to want to play, or are you getting to the point where the beauty's like, okay, but I need to get more in the game now?
I think the beauty is something that is one reason that people can make these videos. The quality of the work that SIG is doing, although it seems slow, the stuff they're putting out is like really high end quality. And to keep up to date and to keep relevant, they have to keep improving their game. Many people improving their rigs and stuff like that, getting new GPUs if you're can have a magic lamp right now, but they're getting better monitors and stuff like that so they can I still think it's going to be a thing. I'm coming up to my 5th year in the game. I think for people that have been waiting for it longer and longer, like myself, it's kind of like, okay, I needed stuff to start working, and I think that's difficult to deal with. So it is. You have to deal with. I think the whole thing is managing burnout and just being patient.
Okay.
But I don't want to be, I don't want to wait 20 years for this thing.
Right. Okay. Fist, what about you? You've only been in the game a couple years, so maybe your perspective's different. By the way, before you answer, Pathis, thank you for the follow. Triple U, thank you for the follow. Iola 2020, thank you for the follow. And Nemo, thank you for the follow. So thank all of you all for the follow and hanging out with us tonight. Fist, what about you? You've been in the game just a few years. How do you feel about the beauty versus gameplay?
I will say, the beauty is definitely a great thing, but gameplay does need to catch up a bit more. I will say that. I do wish, because Xenothreat had me in there. We need, I need something like that, to definitely keep me engaged. But mining is great and everything like that. With the new components and everything, but you do want to have something else to do, because you don't want to just kind of do the same old same. When you do want to kind of venture off and see other things and do other things in the game that there is. So I do think there is other things that they do need to pick up a little bit more.
Okay. Go Map, same question.
Yeah, I think the game is absolutely stunning. You can't, and I think it will draw people into it. And like a lot of folks said, it's the substance that keeps you playing. It's having things to do that you actually want to do, that makes you log in day to day. As far as this video is concerned, I would have absolutely lost it if about halfway through a 30K would have popped up and the video would have ended. That would have been the best Star Citizen video I had ever seen. Like this, I mean, because it would have completely encapsulated, I think, everything we've ever experienced in this game, as far as just being completely in awe with like the attention to detail, to just be stabbed in the heart, in the middle of it. So, but he didn't do that. It was a lot of slow pans and some real soothing. It reminded me of like a massage envy.
Okay.
I felt like I was about to get my shoulder rubbed or something, but it was a good video, very, very artistic shots and whatnot. Okay. But that's my opinion.
Okay. All right. Pops, how about you? Beauty versus gameplay.
Well, first of all, the music on point. Music, I dug it. The looks of the game, I think is going to have a great impact, especially when you go into exploration and you get to visit, and you're the first group to get there. And I know people are going to be streaming it. They're going to come across things because we just had, like you said, a past. And going on the moon, we saw different things that we hadn't seen. The asteroid techs and how people are talking about how they look now. It has such an impact in the game when you, especially like I can say, exploration. It's going to be some places out there we are all going to see, and we are all going to try our best to get there and go beyond. And I think that's going to really keep this game people coming back, because it's going to be so much to do, so many, from mining, exploration, medical. You got to have so much to do. Yeah.
Okay. Fastcart, let me ask you a question, because you and I have been in the game for a little while. I will say this, because I want to touch on something Admiral Kusanagi said. The beauty is great, but it is also, and I think Fist to Face, you alluded to this earlier about the graphics in the game. It does do a lot to a computer rig, right? I've had 3 rigs since I've been playing Star Citizen. I just built my 3rd rig. I literally just built my 3rd rig in the fall of this last year. When I first came in, I had a rig that was okay, and it ran the game pretty well. But once we got into the modules and started getting into combat, I said, okay, I got to upgrade again. In 2016, I built a brand new rig, and that rig did pretty well. About 2018, it started to slow down a bit. I went from 16 gig to 32 gig of RAM. I saw a great improvement by me doing that. And then I had a 1070 card at that point. And then this last year, when we started doing streaming, and because of Star Citizen, I upgraded again. And now I'm running a 3950, and I'm running a 2880 Super, and I'm running 64 gig of RAM. Is there going to be some frustration? Because technically this game is really drawing on us over time. You just recently had to build a new rig yourself. Is that going to be something that we are going to have to deal with, Fastcart, in the sense of this game? Or because the game is supposed to be playable on not on any machine, but decent machines.
Decent machine. I think it'll be something people. I mean, I'm hoping. I've said it before. I'll say it again. But I'm hoping that when the game is close to release, like Squadron 42 or Star Citizen, or maybe both, that they'll put out a benchmark, a demo with a benchmark included, so people can run the game, run the benchmark, and see if their PC is up to snuff. Otherwise, people may pay $45 or $60 for the game, and then wind up finding out they can't play it because the PC isn't good enough. Because people don't read minimum specs or system requirements before they do stuff like that. So I can see a lot of people getting upset. And also, I think and talk about the beauty in the game. I'm hoping or guessing that the game every 5 years or so, the graphics will update in some form or fashion. That's my guess.
Well, I want to say this, Moriar. I saw your message. She says, "Ha ha." guess I shouldn't tell you that a 3090 even suffers, right? And I'm sure that there are people who will say that, you know, even higher rigs than what I have are suffering. Frame rates are an issue. There's some others, and of course we know the game isn't optimized, so there's a lot of reasons why some things are why there's some problems in relation to the game. Go ahead, fastcart.
When my PC was working, I had a 3700X and a 2080 Super, and I got 45 frames per second on that's on the maximum. So
I really want to see what Vulkan does in Gen.
Vulkan's going to huge factor. Absolutely, Vulkan is going to have a huge effect. Yes.
What I want to see first with the rig that I have right now, I want to see what it does first, and then I can gauge, okay, right, where do I need to go from there?
Well, let me tell you something that people used to say back in the day, Fist. And for those of you who've been around any length of time, you'll remember this. Everybody used to say, oh, I'm not going to upgrade my rig until Squadron 42 comes out. When I know Squadron's coming out, that's when I'm going to upgrade my rig. And that has not been the case at all.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. You know, people have literally had that is, you don't even hear that speech anymore. Now it's just whether or not, you know, like right now, graphics cards are ridiculously priced, so people are waiting, right? But sure enough, there are going to be plenty of people, CPUs too, right? But sure enough, there are going to be some people within the next year, especially if they get any inkling that Squadron 42 is about ready to come out. People will probably do that one. And I get it. You know, we want to do that, be prepared, upgrade for it. Now, mind you, I don't recommend that you upgrade your computers just because of Star Citizen. It's not just that. When I upgraded, it was also because of the streaming dynamic that I wanted to do this show. So it kind of was like a dual thing, because I couldn't, I could play Star Citizen on my old computer, but I couldn't stream well and do it. So I had to kind of say, I got to bite the bullet and do it, because I actually wanted to wait until this year to upgrade. Thank God I didn't, or else I still wouldn't have a computer right now. But
remember, technology like doubles every 5 years.
Yeah,
not anymore. Not quite anymore.
It's bad now.
Yeah,
Does it pull back a bit?
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I mean, if you look at the new cards, and I don't want to deviate too much from this, but for the new cards and stuff, the prices now, the MSR prices are way cheaper now for the cards than they were when the 20 series came out. The 30 series cards are much more affordable, where before you were paying a minimum of $700 to $1,000 for those cards. And now they've made them much more enriched, but of course they've been eaten up by the market, and you can't even get your hands on one now, you know?
Yeah.
My
Team Red has a lot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No, that's okay.
Team Red has got a lot, you know, with their coming out and being able to be competitive now against it. So yeah, I have to say kudos to them on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that if you are looking for a new piece, a new CPU, or a new graphic card, try Newegg Shuffle. You may have to keep at it for like a month or two, but eventually you should be able to get something.
Okay.
Newegg Shuffle.
Yeah. I want to go to something that fastcart said earlier. He was talking about. Oh God, it flew out of my head because I was going to say it.
About the graphic for every 5 years?
No, it was something before.
No, it was right before that.
It was something before that. No, it's okay. It was. That's okay. It was just something about us doing these rigs and the. You were talking about minimum requirements, and I guess that's the other factor too. Is, you know, even with minimum requirements, you know, how demanding is the game? Oh, I know what I was going to say. Let me share this with you guys, and then we're going to wrap the show up. When I did the last upgrade on my computer, and I shared the story once before. Before I started the computer up, the last thing I did, I was in my reclaimer, and I was in orbit of Yella, and I logged out on the ship, which is something I don't do very often, but at the time I didn't, so I logged out. I built the new rig, and when I came back to the game looked entirely different to me. And the reason why I'm saying that is this. I didn't realize how much of Star Citizen I was not seeing with a computer that didn't reach the specs. Now, I know this is going to sound really weird. I just said don't build a computer. What
did you have?
I had a 1070 running at 32 gig of RAM. When I walked around on the reclaimer, I saw things that I didn't see before. And for those of you who haven't, thank you. Afrostats says going 4K is huge, and I agree. I saw particles of dust. I saw light particles. I saw details. And the frustration in that for me is that for 3 years, I had been playing the game, or 4 years on my old rig, thinking that I was getting the maximum of my investment in this game. I've invested a decent amount of money in this game, and I thought I was seeing all that I had been backing and supporting. When I got my new computer, I found out that for 4 years, I was missing all this visual beauty that was in the game. I know for some people, it's not a big deal. They don't care about that. But for me, it literally was, I can't describe to you that it was almost like, when you go from 2D and you look at VR and you go, wow, that's how it felt when I looked at the game. So my point is that if you're really into it, I would say if you're running a low res computer or low end computer, find good deals. If you've invested a decent amount of money, if you only bought a $45 chip, don't build your computer up.
Yeah, right.
But if you've built a decent amount of money in this game, I'm telling you, you are missing. I think Ops Chief is in the chat with me. He did an upgrade recently. He talked about, wow, I didn't realize how beautiful this game was. There really is a difference. But this game is for the above average to high end computer rig in order to get the maximum visual experience from the game. So I just want to share that with you guys.
I'll say this, like a video like this, that's machinima, it's good for detailing the beauty of the game, but you don't really get the experience until you play the game for yourself.
Absolutely.
Like, especially on the decent rig. Because the visuals and everything look good on the video, but being able to control it and see everything personally, that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
If I can jump in.
Sure.
As my son said earlier, I bought an OLED, and man, the things I can see.
Yeah.
I know Kimmy has one, and but when you once you go you're never going back.
I understand. There's a lot of, you realize what you weren't seeing before, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yep. No, it is definitely a beautiful game. It really. Okay. Let's see. What am I going to? I'm going to this screen here. Okay. We want to say thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Admiral Kusanagi, to Fist to Face, to GoMab, to Pops in Space. These are our regulars that drop in with us. And you know what? We didn't even invite anybody tonight. I'm so sorry, but you guys can always join us in chat. It's a party here, and as you can see,
Kuno.
And Kuno said good night. He said good night to everybody. In fact, he had to duck out, but Kuno was here as well. We always appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us, and of course, sharing your thoughts, because this is a community show and we love hearing from the community. So thank you guys for all the good stuff you gave us tonight. We had really good conversations. Fastcart, you want to kind of fill people in on what the next stuff is here?
On Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're doing a next episode of Star Citizen, Crossing into Concierge, where we'll be talking about, Concierge. And I believe this week we're having Captain Richard, right?
That is correct. Captain Richard.
So join us for that, then that should be, that should be real fun. Also, follow us on our social media. We have this is Twitch, obviously, but we have a YouTube channel, we have Instagram, and we have Patreon. So check the link down below and please support us that way. But yeah, Sunday 8 p.m. Crossing into Concierge with Captain Richard.
Absolutely. Just the face. So, Griff, yeah, go ahead, Admiral.
Quick question. Are you going to have something else maybe this weekend? I know last week you had a impromptu show in the verse, and that went pretty well, I thought. There was a decent amount of people that showed up.
It was truly impromptu. Let me explain to you what that was supposed to be. Last week, we were about 2.5 hours away from reaching partner. And we were two people short of reaching partner. So what happened was, and I said it on the show on Sunday, I said tomorrow I might come on the show just to burn some time to get closer to it. So that was really just me coming on to burn time. And I think what happened is people just kind of either looked in Discord and saw us, or the thing went up on Twitter, and next thing you know, we had a party, right? So it wasn't planned by any means. But I don't know if again, I was only doing it because I was trying to get some time in on the clock. We have talked about trying to play on Saturdays between the Friday show and the Sunday show a little bit, so that way people can kind of join in. So we may have to talk about that or start doing it, because we keep having people ask us about when do we get together and play. And we do have a great time when the folks from the community come on board and join us. So let's say maybe after 313 launches, maybe we'll kind of plan some Saturdays or something to get together out here. So thank you for asking about that.
And tomorrow, Fist to Face is
I was going to say
tomorrow, Fist to Face is doing a show. You're going to tell us about that, Fist?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, you guys can catch me over at twitch.tv/FishToFaceGaming. What I'll be doing is another 890 jump party. We'll be doing some music from what is it? Old school rap, right, Pops? That's what we got going on.
Old school rap this week.
Old school rap. So if you see 4 hands on turntables and a mixer, that's me, Fish to Face, and Pops in space. Don't think it's an octopus kind of a mutant thing going on. But yeah,
what time is that?
What time tomorrow? It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing a 2-hour show. May run over a little bit, but bring your dancing shoes. If you drink, whatever, just don't blame me if the neighbors call the cops on you.
All right. Well, listen, we look forward to seeing you guys. Make sure you can stop by with Fist to Face's his music event. It's always good, a lot of fun, and he plays some really good music. So trust me, it's worth visiting. And as Fastcart mentioned, hopefully we can see you guys on Sunday with Captain Richard. We're looking forward to having him on. We've been wanting him on for a very, very long time, and this was a show that we kind of talked to him about. And he said, "Oh, I want to do that one." So we're going to talk about all the different levels of concierge and what the benefits are, if there are benefits. Once you hit that 1,000 mark, up to, well, we won't say how high we'll go, but we're going to go pretty high on Sunday. So. Thanks again.
Up to my wallet hurts.
Yeah. I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can get my Legatus friend to join and tell you all about
it. Good.
Also, just to make sure, that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Okay, awesome.
Well, technically today for most of us.
Yes, very true, very true.
And before everybody goes, I want to say rest in peace, DMX.
Yes. It's so saddened to hear that. Yes, absolutely. All right, gang, as always, we love you. We appreciate you. Stay healthy, stay safe. And as always, peace, love, and soul. We are going to raid tonight Trip Rodriguez. So when you guys get over to Trip, say hey, give a shout out for Soul Citizens. If you like what he's doing, give him a follow. And we hopefully will see you guys on Sunday. Peace, love, and soul. Take care of yourselves, gang. See you soon.